Hey everybody, it is Scott here from GearRules.com. I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe out there. Now today we're doing a keychain organizer product review. Now for those of you who have seen my pocket dump video from a couple of months ago, you may have seen my keychains in a complete disarray. I even had a couple of comments calling me out on how unorganized and bulky they were. Well, my friends from Keyport ended up sending me one of their products, the Keyport Pivot 2.0, which is right here. And I've been using this for the last couple of months, and it honestly has completely changed my life. My keys are now super simple, super easy to use, and very sleek. I've really enjoyed this product. We're going to dive into basically what you can get with the Keyport Pivot 2.0, how it works, and my likes and dislikes of the product. I hope you guys really enjoy this video, and if you have any comments or questions, please post them down below. And as always, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Let's get into it.
Alright, so before I show you guys the product, how it works and what I like and don't like about it, I just wanted to show you guys their website really quick. They have a lot going on with their website and a lot of useful information. So firstly, they have a ton of how-to guides of different setups, which is super helpful. They also have a contact link, and talking with a lot of the people there, they're super helpful. So I'm sure they'd be able to answer a lot of your questions if you couldn't figure them out on the YouTube videos. So like I said, we're going to be reviewing the Keyport Pivot 2.0. They have this nice little guide down here that shows you basically how to check out. If you just want to buy the pivot, that's perfectly fine. But there's a ton of different add-ons you can add on, and I'll kind of walk through that. Basically, you pick your material as well as your color. Different add-ons that you can put inside the keyport. And then they have these modules that you can actually attach to the outside of the keyport, as well as different accessories used to adding on to the keyport as well. Today I have the stainless steel. It's got like an oily finish to it. I have a mocha tool. There is a pen key touchless tool, but I didn't choose to use that. I have the Pocket Flare mini flashlight, which honestly at first I was skeptical about, but I really love it. And then I have this cool gray camo faceplate. So when you're going through the checkout process, you just click here like I've already done, and you hit buy now, and then you can go through and basically add all the things you want to your cart. So that's basically it. They have some other products as well, Anywhere Tools, which is very similar to what I'll be showing you guys with the different modules, but basically you can stack on top of different things, which is super awesome. So let's go ahead and dive into the product and what I like and don't like about it. So here we go. Alright, so this is my keyport that I've been using for a couple of months now, and so what we're going to do is take this off the keychain and we're going to disassemble it and really just talk through the product as we go. So this is the stainless steel version. It's kind of an oily colorway, and it's got the flash module on it, which is the light, and it also has that gray camo. So when you get the keyport, it comes in this box, and it actually comes with a ton of informational cards, which is super helpful, and a lot of them have QR codes to basically explain what to do if you ever get lost. The card here also has a blowout of the assembly and an itemized numbering system to really explain what each individual item of the assembly is, which is super helpful. And it also comes with spacers, and it shows you basically how to space out the different keys if you only have a couple of keys. We'll get into removing the stack a little bit later. It shows here we have the Pocket Flare, which is the flashlight, and it actually has two different settings, a direct flashlight and then more of a all-around glow, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit later as well. Now I did get a brass key sent to me by Keyport. I didn't actually end up using the brass key, but but for the pandemic and basically everyday life, this is a key that you can add on to your keyport. It will stick out a little bit from the overall keyport. I basically didn't use it because just not really my thing, but that is an option, which is super nice. Okay, so the next thing that they give you is the Rush tool. This tool can actually be carried around with you in your keyport if you want it, but I really didn't use it. It's got some options like you can put it on your belt and carry it around that way. But this tool's main purpose, what I used it for, is removing a stacked module. It's basically anything that is attached to the exterior of your keyport. Now what I would do is fan out the keys like I've done already, and there's a little dimple that you'll use to press it away, and there's two wedge pieces angled at one direction, and so you just press on the dimple and push away from the wedge piece. And this might be some people's preferred method of using the keyport. With the exterior modules, it really was pretty sleek, but without, it gets even sleeker, which is super awesome. And so like I said before, this is a faceplate. You can add one or two faceplates to the sides of your keyport to give it a little extra flair or pizzazz. There's different designs like American flags or camo. And this is the flare module. Like I said, there's two different settings. We'll kind of talk about those a little bit later. And then the last card I forgot to mention is this Got Questions card, which shows you their number that you can call them up if you have any questions, and has a link to the guides. So really the next thing we're going to do is disassemble the keyport. Now when I actually used the keyport over the last couple months, I never had to disassemble the keyport. So don't expect that you're going to have to do this very often. But it's super easy to do. So once you have all your exterior modules taken off, you just need a quarter or a dime, some sort of coin, or you can use a screwdriver, and just twist until the female and male screws end up disassembling themselves. So another thing that's important to point out here is there's actually a spring washer in this assembly, and when you're at the tighter parts of the screwing and unscrewing, it'll actually click every quarter or half turn. And this will keep the assembly from disassembling when you're using it every day, and it'll keep it nice and tight. So that's a super awesome feature. So this is the keyport, and it's bare naked assembly, and it's a pretty simple design when it's all together, and there's a rubber piece that actually holds the keyport together, and that's a pretty durable rubber piece as well. And it comes with these little spacer rings, which I've pointed out before. So if you're only going to carry around a couple of smaller keys, you can actually add the spacers so that the overall assembly isn't wonky or cantered, which I imagine isn't really good for the overall life of the product. So you probably want to make sure it's nice and square when it's fully assembled. So next we're just going to have to reassemble it, and I'm just doing this because it'll really show you guys how easy the keyport is to use. And this way I can actually talk through the different items that you can actually have in your keyport, and this is just a few of the items that they offer. A really nice thing that they have is a reward if found QR code, and you actually can set up that QR code so if someone finds your keys, that'll email and notify you when it's found, which is super useful. This is the spring washer in the assembly, which will keep the product nice and tight and won't disassemble when it's carrying around in your actual pockets. So you're just going to stack all the items you want to put on your keychain onto the female side in the order that you want. This is the Mocha 10-in-1 multi-tool that Keyport adds as an add-on if you want to buy it. It's super useful. It's got a box opener for opening like Amazon box. It's got some hex tools, and it's got a bottle opener as well as a ruler. And it fits perfectly right inside your keyport. Next we have my Yubico 2-factor authentication. I've shared this in other videos. I didn't buy this through Keyport. It just so happened to fit right inside the keyport, which is super niceful. So next I'm just going to add my typical standard house keys, and you're going to reach a certain point if you added too many things that you aren't basically on the female part of the screw. And that's totally okay. You just want to place it so it's perfectly aligned with that hole. So when you wrap the other side of the key port around, you're going to want to see that flush all the way through. This will just make it a lot easier for you actually screwing on the male part of the screw. So once you get threaded in there quite a bit, then you can use your nickel or screwdriver and finish up the assembly. And like I said, at the very end, you're going to have some clicks every quarter or half turn, and that's going to let you know that you're really in the right spot as far as tightness goes. I typically tighten mine pretty tight, and I didn't see a ton of wear and tear. And I had my concerns over this rubber piece here, but it actually really held up well, and I haven't even seen any signs of that degrading, which is super nice. So you can see how those exterior modules actually just slide into those 3 openings, and they just click right in. It's super useful. And I never really had those exterior pieces fall out, which is super nice. They just click right into place. So now that I've done the entire disassembly and assembly process and showing you guys stuff along the way, I can finally get into my likes and dislikes of the product. Now I really only have one dislike of the key port, and this would be pretty common probably for other key organizers as well, and that is it takes me slightly longer to get my key out to actually use it than it would from a typical keychain where I can just find the key and use it like normal. Now I really only have one other slight thing that I didn't like about this particular key port, and that is I'm not the hugest fan of the stainless steel color design, but that's super easy to fix. You just don't buy this color design, but that was the one that they sent me. But the stainless steel is super durable. Now let's dive into the pros that I haven't already mentioned already. Like I've mentioned before, I really like that there's a little card that goes in your keys that will help you find your keys if you lose them. I really also like the optionality and flexibility that the key port gives you. There's lots of different tools that you can integrate inside of your key port and outside of your key port. I also really like the size of the key port. All of those keys and tools fit into the size of about the key fob of my Chevy vehicle, which is super, super nice. Not only do I love the optionality, but I also love how durable it is. The rubber piece right there was my cause for concern, but really it's held up very well. Now one thing that I didn't like at first, but I ended up really loving, is the flare module that I added on the outside, which really makes it easy for you to use your keys in the darkness with the first setting. And on the second setting, it really just helps light up any sort of bag or room that you might be in. So that pretty much wraps up everything I have to say about Keyport. I'm really impressed, and I've already recommended it to a lot of friends and family, and I will continue to use this for as long as I can. I really hope you guys like this video. The Keyport really helped me organize my messy keychain, and I'm sure it'll help you guys as well. Now my keys are a little less embarrassing and a lot more cool. Thanks for watching. Take care.